Journey through Miro, finally. And I am Nella Moore, and these are my boys. Say hello, boys.
Hello, boys.
Long time no see.
And they will now introduce themselves, starting with the one wearing a colorful shirt on either side of me right now.
Hello, I'm Steven the Stowell. That's Steven the Stowell on TikTok. Steven the Stowell on Clapper, both all one word. Lone Jedi 100 on YouTube. A man of many titles in many places, including stuff I am working on in fell and dread places of my mind that I will one day reveal very inquisitively. Um, I run a D&D game of my own called The Tomes of Time that will hopefully be returning itself very shortly from a forced and at times relented to hiatus. Um, I play Yip Yap No Tail, Kobold Rogue.
You want to go next, Dale, or should I?
I'll go next. I
Sweet.
am Dale Jitsu on all platforms of significance, and I play the role of Isaiah Yeager, Magus extraordinaire.
Hello there. I am the Black Doctor. You can find me on TikTok, which is, thank God, it's still up. Instagram, which is still up, and as well as YouTube. Recent Seminarian, and you can hear on a Journey Through Miro. You will know me as the pretty much undead zombie, but illustrious prince Balgroth the Dark, Paladin of Vengeance.
Sick. Now, I know it's been a while, but could anyone give me the recap of last session?
We have dead people.
So we got to the snow and got to the town. I bought a loaf of rye bread for 12 gold. And that's pretty much all we need to know. But I suppose some minor things are we talked to an orc pastor at a church, and Yip Yap was curious about this non-canon book used by the Limerius. We followed the guy that was talking about that, and he seems a bit skeevy, frankly. And we found out the next day the governor's son was found dead at the church, and yeah, the necromancer says it hurts to speak with the dead. And I think last we left off, a Limerius with a green cigar with a floral smell named Aiton gave us a little lore drop, and said he's going to keep an eye on us.
Cool. That is an inspiration for you. Anyone want to add anything? Okay. Then we'll jump into it. We jump into it, and you are standing outside the fence of the graveyard, now given a direction to heed from the Limerius, or you can choose your own path. You have been pointed towards the mayor's house by the roguish Limerius you spoke to, again known as Aiton, under the pretense that the mayor may not follow through on his promise of sending a letter to the father of the deceased. But knowledge of who, what, where, when, and why of the murder could be obtained by the townsfolk, who now meander about with clouds of despair hanging heavy above them from this horrible accident. Actual clouds of gray linings pass over the sun, leaving no space for shadows on the ground.
Balgroth sort of leaning on the gate so as to, or at least trying to make sure that he doesn't lean so much that he ends up either collapsing it or making a huge dent in it. Sort of converses with his two compatriots. So it would be wise to probably ask the town people what's happened, or we could see what the mayor has to say. I mean, I don't necessarily trust him, but he could give us a few leads about what's going on. What do you guys think?
I defer to you on this one.
Yeah, me too.
Who knows? Maybe we could try choking some information out of the mayor first.
Oh, or we
Less
torture
surprised
him.
given that his son just died.
No, that's the governor, not the mayor.
Oh, all these politicians look the same to me.
I, I, I don't know if that's racist or anarchist, but I'm kind of here for it.
Anarchist, despite his faults, is not racist. Moving.
Okay.
Yip yap. So there's a fence that we're against?
Yeah, the graveyard is behind you.
Okay.
You
Yip Yap's
see-
gonna kind of climb up to Balgroth's head and just kind of play devil on his shoulders. Yeah, we could torture information out of him. I could put my dagger under his fingernails one by one.
I, Yip Yap, I like your enthusiasm. I really do.
Yeah.
But I think just simple intimidation might work.
That seems pretty simple to me.
As in, we won't necessarily have to harm him. I'm not sure if he's
Oh.
squeamish, but I think just merely showing how strong we are might help. And besides, I'm the prince. He'll respect me.
Yeah.
And so I guess we begin to at least head to the mayor's, to where the mayor is.
All right. As you walk towards the mayor's homestead, you see little dots of void flitting around behind the houses, on top of them, in the trees surrounding the town. Small flogants hop and pick at the snow, paying no heed to really anything in particular. As you walk, you also spot the undertaker, the grave tender at Mantha, is also making his way off towards what you probably assume is his own home. As you approach the mayor's house, it is a humble house, only seeming to have 2 rooms at most from the outside. He is standing on the outside, a snowy owl on his arm, of which he is tying a sealed letter to its leg. He looks rather nervous, his fingers kind of slipping around the tie, having to undo it and retie it again. The owl is agitated, flapping its wings in his face, making it even harder for him to tie it.
Suddenly, without any warning, Balgroth just appears behind him and says, "Mayor."
He kind of jumps. If you remember, he is a halfling, so he is quite short. And he jumps and kind of gives a small yell of surprise, almost like throwing the owl off his arm, but he manages to stay still. Oh, hello, Prince. What brings you by?
What are you doing?
Well, I am preparing this owl to send off to the governor, of course.
Ah, so you have heard of the death of his son.
Yes, everyone has by now. It's a small town, Prince.
So, since it is a small town, you might have heard more than just the simple news that the governor's dead. What else have you heard?
Well, I mean, it's not like there's really a rumor mill around the town. There's just not much really goes on, I suppose.
Well, if nothing ever goes on, that means when something does happen, it tends to make a stir.
Well, of course. I mean, a, a body just appeared on the church steps. This is extremely unusual. There's a lot of friction and worry in the town right now, and I have to send this letter. And if this owl would just sit still for 2 seconds, and I could send it.
He, let's see. I sort of turn between the two of them. Which two of you are really good at dealing with animals? I mean, Isaiah, you literally have an egg, and
Yep.
yep, you're pretty much almost an animal.
Fossil pops out from under Yip Yap's hood.
Yep, you seem to be the savior of animal kind. Historically.
Why don't you help the mayor real quick?
Presents.
Why don't you at least try to? Why don't you try to help the mayor tie this letter to the owl so we can send it to the governor?
You're asking who?
You, yep, yeah.
Well, you see, I'm only like average, good with these kind of things.
For good.
If you
I'm
are,
worse.
if you are Isaiah thinks, you might be a little above average.
I turn to Isaiah. You.
All right, I'll try it. So, what do you want me to do, Bogles?
Just try to keep the owl still.
All right.
Or see if you can tie the letter on him.
I'd like to. Let me see if I have this spell. I forget if I do. I don't. Okay. I would like to
Cast fireball on the owl.
Yeah, right. Yes, fireball. That's what I wanted. I would like to try to use my crow to calm down the owl.
Okay.
As I maybe try to use Mage Hand to tie it to the. Actually, Mage Hand probably can't do that. So while I use Mage Hand to just like keep it down so the guy can tie.
Okay. Just roll an overall animal handling check for me. Okay, yeah, simple enough. Your crow distracts the bird of prey on the mayor's arm as the mage hand manages to keep its wings and head down. The mayor ties off the letter, and the owl almost immediately takes off.
Now, didn't the guy say the owl might not get to the governor? Did he mean this owl?
You're not entirely sure what he meant by that.
Interesting. Do you think that owl will get to the governor?
Are you asking the mayor?
I'm asking the mayor.
Well, I mean, owls are the best mail system, in my opinion. Very reliable. It should be about a day, and within that time, if the governor's here, then it means you got the owl.
Fair enough.
Well, now that that's taken care of, what exactly have you heard around the particular death of the governor's son? I mean, like, for example, who do you think could be the culprit? Maybe an angry religious group?
Well, he kind of leans back against the wall of his house and loops his thumbs into his overalls. I wouldn't really... Well, I guess goblins are kind of the base answer around here nowadays. Always going out, killing, pillaging, things like that.
But why would they leave them at the church, though?
Pardon?
But why would they leave the body at the church?
As a threat, probably. I'm not entirely... Goblins are hard to decipher because they hardly make sense about themselves anyway.
Well, where are the goblins again? In the mountains?
The goblins are technically past the mountains on the northern coast. You would have to go through Goliath's Pass to get to their little kingdom, I guess.
Goliath's Pass. How far is that?
Well, on foot, which is not recommended, is about 3 days. With caravan, depends. It's quicker than on foot. So.
Hmm. When do you think is the nearest caravan to head in that direction?
Well, see, that's the tricky thing, gentlemen, is no caravans go through Goliath's Pass anymore.
So why even suggest it?
Why don't they go through anymore?
Because there's really no reason to. The only thing on the other side is the goblins, and going through it is dangerous in its own right.
I see.
Hmm.
Well, 3 days. What's the terrain like?
Well, it's like most of the country, I guess. It's snowy, and it gets more rocky as you get closer to the mountains. It gets kind of dangerous. More goblin outposts the closer you get. There's that storm. It's just, I wouldn't recommend going.
I see.
Goblins, you'd say.
Yes.
Yes, decap goblins.
Have you not been listening this whole time?
Yeah, it's just.
Well,
So aside from the goblins, who else do you think might be a culprit?
Well, there aren't many towns out here no more. There's just us. There's Golden Leaf, and then there's the outposts.
Any of them heralded by particular religious groups or anything of that nature? I mean, of course, for example, the church used to be run by another religion, right?
Uh, Technically, yes. Before the town was settled, before my family moved here, that church was built and run by some heretical group that worshipped that amalgamous triad thing.
Mm-hmm. And so, where do you think they could have gone after the town was settled?
Well, when we got here, the church was already abandoned. It was already in disrepair, I guess. We assumed they just died. They don't really take care of themselves the way that they worship.
Let's see.
Algroth. Well, I'll talk to you and get you up later about this. But well, Mr. Mayor, have a lovely day.
You as well try to, I guess.
As we leave, I want to lean into Yip Yap and Balgroth. This goblin problem seems quite wide-ranging. Do you think it would be worth us going there?
To be honest with you, it's the only lead we have, so we might as well.
Yeah.
There's that strange Esser fellow, but I suppose you may have to let that lie for the moment. This may have more urgency.
That I agree.
How many goblins are there, Balgroth?
How many rats in a city are there?
We're staying here. All right.
You say that like you're intimidated by them.
Balgroth,
What?
many times a day can you smite?
A few. Why?
Like if more or less than 50.
And you think I would need that many?
I can probably do, if I really buckled down, I could do maybe 8 fireballs in a day of my smallest fireballs. I don't think that's enough to handle legions of goblins that are measured in units of rats.
Ah,
You
my
know, the
friend,
reason why I measure them in units of rats is because they go down as easily as rats.
my
Yes.
friend, you are talking to a veteran of many skirmishes and battles, and indeed an ongoing war with the goblin people.
It's a lot of big words for you, Jeff.
I was gonna say, this is the most astute he's been. I'm loving this.
The point where Isaiah is not even going to mention, and where's the rest of your army? But he's not going to say that. He's impressed with the big word. Balgroth, I just don't think it's wise to challenge an army. This is not a marauding band.
So what do you suggest, oh fearless leader?
Mind slip. No. Well, do you know? Are they organized? Is it marauding bands with a warlord? Is it a kingdom with fiefs?
Well, when it comes to the goblins, for as much as I know, they do. I mean, of course, they do have the king. But it really does depend on, I guess, the factions around, I guess, who's guarding them. If I'm remembering correctly.
Well, perhaps we can at least do a bit of a investigative effort.
I would second that. At least know what we're up against.
Yes. I still remember when we were fighting that plant thing, and it was like something like, "I will make this world no pain for its crimes." And then as soon as we lost, it's like, "Oh, why is it so mean to
You
be?"
didn't say that.
Let me see if I took notes on this.
Oh, please, why are you being mean to me? I'm sorry.
That's pretty much what happened.
I will make this world no pain.
Oh yeah, no. Here's what it was. We went to the shed, and it opens with, "Everything will return to nature." And then when losing, it went, "I'm sorry."
Please, don't kill me.
Uh-huh.
You just sound so upset.
I
think it's funny.
All right, but back to the goblins at hand. All right. Well, I guess we set off. We have food.
Yeah. I think we pretty much have everything we need.
We need you to carry my egg.
You need me to carry your what?
My egg.
Why do I have to carry the egg? Why can't you carry the egg? It's your egg.
It's your region. And you're bigger. Oh,
who cares if I'm bigger? It's your egg.
Fine.
I don't
But
have
if it
ice
doesn't
magic.
hatch, I get to eat it all.
Okay.
All right. I guess I will acquire my egg from the caravan. I think I already did that. It should be like that.
All your stuff is still in the church, I believe.
I'm going to go to church.
Are you guys trying to acquire a caravan?
I thought there weren't any anymore going there.
Yeah, there weren't any.
Yeah. What is your guys' plan?
I'm going to walk there.
Travel on foot.
Okay.
Unless we commandeer a caravan.
Balgroth. Roll
Wait,
a nature.
I'm the freaking prince.
Roll a nature check with advantage because this is your homeland.
I'm the freaking prince. I could probably order a freaking caravan.
I feel like
It would still take a while to get there.
And
Mhm.
well, you said roll a what with advantage?
Nature.
Ah. I mean, it's a 9, but what do you want?
Snowy. It's snowy. You are in a continent that is snowy, and there are things in the snow. There's a reason why, as a kid, you were always told not to go out in the snow by yourself. It's not, even in groups, it's not guaranteed you will survive. Just because, not because of anything you can fight, but because nature itself is against you in this place. It is cold. It is barren. If you run out of food, you are dead. It is a 3 days walk. You have to eat a ration every hour. You have enough?
It's as if this world does have a life of its own and we don't have enough supplies. At least on our own.
oh, now who's the fearless leader?
Still me.
Sounds like someone's afraid of being a little hungry.
Hey, I don't have to eat.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I think we've established that. I eat for the possible reality of feeling something ever again. Because I can't feel the hugs of my wife and my kid. But there's got to be another way, and until we do, we can't really head anywhere.
Well, I suppose then we're back to watching Book Boy.
I suppose. So we could probably ask the villagers of what they saw. At least that'll give us probably a few more leads.
Yes. Well, after you, Prince.
Balgroth rolls his eyes and just continues, or at least begins to walk towards the village.
All right. Cool. You see a couple people as you walk about because again, this village is like a street long, basically. All the houses and buildings are like in 2 rows on either side of this path that is only formed because of the foot traffic there. Looking forward, you see a handful of people. You see an orc, the one who you believe runs the tailor shop, shoveling snow outside of his home. Every now and then he pulls a berry from his pocket and eats it and continues. You see the Ursian from the bakery sitting by a small dying pyre away from the houses. A tarp has been set up over it to capture the smoke, not to signal their location. It's unclear what's burning, but it's not just twigs and charcoal. You do see Esaru. He's walking his dogs right now, kind of fluttering above them. And you see the Limrius you spoke to sitting on a bench by the graveyard, his head tilted back to catch the snow into his mouth.
I immediately let's see. I go to the place where the stuff is burning.
All right.
I sort of waltz over and, I mean, of course, introduce ourselves and ask, what are you doing?
It takes until you are right next to her and speaking to her for her to look up from a letter that she held in her hand to realize you are there. Oh, forgive me. Hello. I'm just She folds the paper and slides it into her apron. I'm just I'm burning the clothes.
clothes of whom?
The dead. It's a common practice around here to burn the clothes of the dead so that they can be dressed in something nicer for their burial. It's considered a way of foregoing the atrocities that befell the body in life.
I assume that being the governor's son.
Yes, yes.
Well, seems apropos. What were you reading? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh, it's just a letter from my son. He sends them from time to time. Lets me know he's okay.
Oh, and where does he live?
He took a caravan to Setya a few years after his father passed.
Just for the sake of mental clarity, or
I suppose he couldn't stand staying here any longer. I understand.
That must have broken your heart.
I suppose. But he's grown. He's grown. And he still sends letters. That's all I can ask of him.
I agree. The love of a son. Which I'll never know. Aside from that, have you heard anything else from particularly around the village, around the death of the governor's son?
Well,
It seems to me the word has gone around, at least recently.
well, I mean, most of us saw it this morning. The body, and I mean, it wasn't hard to tell who it was. You don't see a lot of rye with dragon scales.
I agree. Wait, what do you mean dragon scales? Refresh my memory.
You would have seen the dragon scales when you examined the body. It was told to you by either the pastor or the mayor that the governor himself is a dragonborn, and so his son is a mix of rye and dragonborn.
Right. Yeah. Yes. That's what I was. That's what I was thinking. But who do you think? Have you heard anything about who might have done him in?
She pauses for a really long time, staring at the fire as the clothes kind of singe and pop. No. Not
a peep?
Most anyone is talking about goblins again. We're all scared that that this is a sign that they're gonna come here. That they know where the town is now.
Everybody seems to be afraid of the goblins, but nobody seems to be willing to do anything about it.
Well, I mean, you used to live here, Your Majesty. There used to be so many towns, and now there's only 2. Us and Golden Leaf.
Why isn't the town more fortified?
We don't really have the means, aside from cutting down trees to make walls. But then that just... We try to make the town look abandoned. It makes the goblins not want to even try to look around. That's why I have this tarp up over the fire. It keeps the smoke. That's why we keep the buildings white with snow, and you don't really fix up that much that doesn't need to be fixed. We're just trying to look abandoned, I guess.
Why haven't you summoned anyone to help?
We've tried. The governor has tried. After after your family's death, Your Majesty, we don't really have much help. No one really cares about us out here.
Hmm. Well, you found someone who does. We're going to find a way to get rid of these goblins. Because it seems to me that that's the only thing that's going to rid this entire town of this trouble. Now, speaking of, do you know anyone else in this town who might be able to help us, at least who might have more information about how particularly the governor's son died, or who might be the culprit aside from or at least who could have been helping the goblins?
She goes quiet again for a couple moments. Her eyes kind of casting a glance to the cemetery for a moment before she looks back to the fire. No, I don't.
You're sure about that?
I mean, I feel like I know most everyone in this town. I don't know why any of us would. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm still so shaken up from this death.
Yip approaches and puts a hand on them.
Is he in gnome form?
Yeah.
Okay. She kind of nods to you and pats your hand, which is her paw is like 4 times the size of your hand. I can't imagine losing a son. I fear the day I might lose mine.
Balgroth sort of looks down. I know the feeling.
I wish I could help you more, but I'm just. There's not
Balgroth,
much to say.
Balgroth then places a hand on her shoulder. You've helped enough. Truly. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then Balgroth sort of turns his head towards the cemetery. I think I might know where we're gonna need to go next, guys.
All right.
Okay.
And so they set
Hey.
off.
Let's dig up a body.
So the cemetery, as I mentioned before, Admantha had already gone off. You're not sure where his house is. The last time you saw him was when you were on the way to the mayor's house. Still sitting in front of the graveyard on a bench with his head tilted back is Aiton, with his mouth hanging open to catch snowflakes on his tongue.
Hello, Aiton.
Can you feel it?
Feel what?
The Goliaths feel it. The air here is thick. Thick with blood.
Yeah. Well, we literally did just witness a murder, or at least know the evidence of a murder. But the question is, who's the culprit?
It's never the right question. It's never the right question. Sione is slowly drowning in the slaughter brought by the Sours who forget they must weep. And they always ask the wrong questions. It is saddening.
So, pray tell, what is the right question?
Now that's a good question. The right question, I would ask. You don't know the topic of. Because you don't have all the information yet.
That's kind of why I'm asking the question.
It's more interesting to watch you figure it out yourself, though. Because if I were to give you all the details of this little murder mystery, that wouldn't make it as fun. Well, no, I'm so sorry. Fun is not the correct term. It's never fun when someone is killed and not cold blood. Blood isn't cold. It's warm. It's always warm.
Walgoth rumbles annoyed.
I'll answer a question. One, make sure you word it correctly. He leans back and crosses his arms, waiting.
Balroth sort of leans back to ask the two, well, what do you think is the right question to ask?
Search your heart, Balroth. Frankly, I think just being difficult, you might not.
I'm searching my heart, and my heart is telling me to choke the life out of him.
Do it. No, don't do it.
So, what do you think?
Can I walk up to and I ask,
You can try.
I'm saying the DM, not you. I walk up. I, Dale, say my character, Uzziah, approaches.
Okay.
All right. What do you think we should know?
That's a very good question. Would you like to hear a story?
Pray continue.
This town used to be a very vibrant trading town. Young Prince, I'm sure you may recall in your younger days that this used to be a very central part of Siren.
Indeed.
And when this town was in its prime, when this town had so much time, there was a lovely young woman who lived here. And she was beautiful. So beautiful, the storms would cease when she walked by. And she was loved by everyone and everything. And she loved only one. And then, that one wasn't able to give her what she wanted. Because he wasn't allowed to. So, another was given to her. One she did not love. One who loved her only for her beauty, not for her prose. And he was a torturing man. you could say. He was a dragon of a man, you could say. But not, of course, a real dragon. No. Dragonborn are actually quite nice around here.
Cobalt.
Maybe. As a derogative term, not as a physical descriptor.
Oh, a cobalt.
And he put an end to that poor girl. And the skies were angry at him. And the ground was angry at him. And the people were angry at him. And so, since he so wanted her so badly, and he lost her, everything decided, why not reunite them again? It is a sad tale, but it is a tale that must be told.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And was this just a long time ago?
I said one question.
Well, thank you for your story.
I love telling them. I try to be helpful. I really do.
Do you?
I do. I always wish people good luck.
Are you going to wish us good luck?
Of course. Good luck.
Thanks.
He tilts his head back again to catch more snow in his mouth.
And who is this guy again?
This is Aiton. He is a Limrius that you saw fly into town the other day,
Yes.
and he's just been hanging out by the cemetery since then.
Crazy guy.
Weirdo. With that, we can take a 10. Jeremiah, how much longer do you think you can stay?
Stay for like 20 more minutes.
All right.
Well, after our 10-minute break.
Sick. So I'll take about a 10-minute break, and then we'll get back to it.
Cool.
All right. Hello.
Hmm.
You coming back to the microphone scared me because I forgot what was going on beside me.
Oh no.
Oh no. I thought this closet shouldn't be making noises.
Wait a second. I didn't know there were people here.
Have we been filming?
What the hook? Forget it. We'll do it live.
Mm. So we should be wrapping up soon. I just want to do like 2 more things, and then we can end the session.
Okie dokie.
If Dale comes back.
If Dale ever gets here, this man is always late, even on
Always.
breaks.
Steven and I are making pulled pork for the first time.
Ooh.
It was interesting.
Ooh.
I thought I bought boneless pork shoulder. It was not boneless. The person who sold it to me lied.
Sir, I would like my chicken nuggets bone in, please.
Yeah, there are bones. It's just ground up.
Oh
It's all the cartilage.
no. Sir, I would like my chicken nuggets, but just the marrow.
Oof.
I don't know if that would actually work.
Maybe.
Like, just take bone marrow and dredge it and then deep fry it. I don't know. Is that just the carnivore diet on overdrive?
Maybe.
That was a below.
I feel like the true carnivore diet is cannibalism.
Go on.
But anyway,
Maybe
back
the
to the
carnivore
game.
diet was the cannibals we had all along.
Back to the game. You all finished talking with Aiton, who seems done talking now. And you see Esaru is making his way towards you. His dogs have been tied off to what you assume is his house. And he kind of floats down in front of you, shaking the snow off his antenna. Hey, again. He gives Isaiah a nervous smile. I found that book, if you want to take a look at it.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
He holds up the book. He doesn't let you take it from him. He holds it up to you. And before he opens it, you see the cover has an intricate design of a feather with the words Ventus Logia above and below the illustration. He opens it up to the page to show you, as I will surmise, a story about the soaring and its children, referred to in the story as Lix, the Sky Shepherd, and Skalek, the Mountain Wonder, and Kandi, the Mischievous Messenger, and I will be sending this to you guys to the Discord, so don't worry about that.
Thank you.
The story follows the 3 children, equally guiding the winds for perfect weather throughout the lands, easing storms in and out to water the ground and prep it for farming, sending clouds to cover the harsh lands of sand to lessen the heat of the sun. But this balance was upset with the untimely and surprising death of one child, Skalek, the Mountain Wonder. This upset the winds and caused unending storms at the land of its death, Sione. A line near the end of the story has been underlined, presumably, by Esaru. Quote, "The storms will arrive, and the bringers will know themselves better than they believe. Watch these fields reap for their fellow kin," which is said in the story by Kandi as the narrator during the latter half of the story.
Wow.
Yes. Where's Discord? Esaru lets you read through the story, and when he kind of figures you're done, he slowly closes the book again and holds it to his chest. So that's what I talked about. That's yeah. Is there anything else you needed?
And why was this not accepted by others?
Well, it's not that it's not accepted necessarily. It's just the church here is a primarily Tellurian church, and this is mostly used in churches of the soaring. So there's some conflict.
I see. Well, thank you very much for sharing with us, Uru.
Yeah, I got to thinking about what you said, and I figured it wouldn't hurt to show you. I just don't want to give you the book. It's really important to me.
No, of course. It's so it seemed to be that Olam, Pastor Olam, was not as keen on it.
Well, I mean, he doesn't worship the soaring like Raiden and Limrius do. He actually worships the Radiance, I think.
Oh, interesting.
But the church was remade in the name of the Tellurian. So a lot of um his preaching is centered around those writings, or writings that are unanimous.
Why preach of something you don't believe in?
Well, it's not that he doesn't believe in the Tellurian. He just worships the Radiance more. It's like I don't really worship the soaring. I keep these books because my parents did. It's part of my growing up, you know?
Understandable.
Makes sense, yes.
I saw you guys walking around and talking to some people. What were you talking about?
Just trying to get information on the what who could have killed the governor's son.
Yes. Learning about these goblins and whatnot. But this church used to serve the Triad, apparently.
Indeed.
Oh yeah, yeah. The that place. Those people. I ran into them. I ran into some of them like a while ago. Because some followers still come through here, because I guess that this church is still something they see as theirs. So sometimes followers will come through and use the church in the name of the Triad. It doesn't really make the pastor that happy, but he can't turn them away.
Do they seem overtly antagonistic towards anyone in the village, particularly someone close to the governor or against the governor?
As long as we're not outwardly rude to them, they're not that rude to us, I guess. There was one time one of them thought that I was a follower. That wasn't very fun. I tried telling them that I don't. I they saw me feeding the Flogans, and that's why they thought I was a follower like them.
So
They got
nobody,
upset.
so nobody else but them characteristically feeds the Flogats.
Well, I see some other people doing it. They're just birds. I don't see a reason why not to, right?
I mean,
That's
I don't
good.
have any beef with them.
I've been known to pop a few of them, but I also know they're nasty.
Hmm.
He doesn't like when I beat him.
Weird. Okay. I think it was in terms of who killed the governor's son.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was one of those things out in the forest.
Explain.
You must have seen them. Those weird, twisted. They have so many eyes without having any at all. They're pale. They blend in with the snow and they snatch people up from caravans.
Do they have a name? I might know them.
People don't really talk about them very much. We're all scared if we say the name of them, they'll show up.
Can you write it for me?
Hmm?
Can you write it for me?
Do you have something for me to write on?
Yeah, I give him a piece of paper. Well,
I'm a nerd. I always have a chance to write stuff down.
Ooh, a quill and a paper, yes.
I'm a wizard!
Dip, 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 dip.
I'm not some illiterate peasant that swings a sword or stibby stabs with daggers.
Yeah, yeah.
Powers my
Wait a minute.
intellect to overcome reality.
Sir, I am a
That's
prince. I am anything but illiterate.
rough.
I don't take
So-
things literally.
Esaru kind of scribbles something down and hands it back to you. And written on the page is a word spelled like this. It is pronounced paler.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Well, thank you. I suppose we'll keep an eye out for these then. And you think one of these came into
Indeed.
town and killed him?
I think one of them, like, they steal people, you know?
Hmm.
We're told not, like, when I was a kid, my mom told me not to go out into the woods because one of those might snatch me away and twist up my body. And
My parents told me the same.
yeah. Is there anything else I can help you guys with?
I don't think that's it for us. But what are you going to be doing now?
Pardon?
Do you have any plans going forward, or not really?
I'm gonna keep running my shop, I guess.
Lovely. Well, I hope it goes well, and I'm sure we'll see you around.
Indeed.
Have a nice day. And he flutters off back to his bug dogs. And as he flies off, you see someone flying towards you quite frantically from above. Large black wings landing down before you, making the snow swirl around him before he folds them around himself and approaches the party. You see Admantha, looking very nervous. And he walks up to you three and says quite simply, "My spellbook is missing."
What?
Oh dear.
Who do you think might have stolen it?
He kind of shakes his head, looking down before he looks up at the church, and suddenly all the nervousness that was in him goes away as something else replaces it. And he says, "The only ones with access to my home are myself and the pastor."
Mm.
That, we're going to end the session.
Dun dun dun.
We've got a mystery on our hands.
Yes, with one suspect.
Yep. No.
And
Maybe two.
85
Possibly
balls
two.
worth.
Possibly two.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. Jeremiah, I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
Dale, I hope you... I was going to say something rude, and I'm sorry.
Hey, you hope I die in a fire.
I hope you get some biddies.
I alone when unwanted. Yeah, that's right.
I hope you find
you
someone
have
who actually loves you.
I hope you have a nice night. And I hope you all enjoyed watching, listening, whatever you guys do. I know no one watches or listens to these because not even my own players do. And I will see you guys next week, hopefully. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.